You're not exhausted, you're just lacking discipline. You're not cursed with bad luck, you're just misusing your time. And deep down, you're fully aware of it. Every moment spent mindlessly scrolling, every time you hit snooze, every minute thrown away, it all adds up. It's the slow burial of the person you were meant to become. And while you sit still, distracted and frozen, your future is quietly slipping away. No one's coming to save you. This is your wake-up call. You're not falling behind because of your background, you're falling behind because of how you're managing your hours. Most people don't need another motivational speech or self-help book. What they need is to stop squandering the minutes that lie between where they are and where they want to be. You're stuck. You're distracted. You're broke. And it's not because life has been unfair. It's because you've treated your time as if it's infinite, like some generous friend who'll always be there when you're ready to get serious. But time isn't kind. It's indifferent, ruthless, and non-renewable. You'll never be refunded for the hours you've wasted. That's what makes your time more valuable than any currency. People are terrified of losing money. They panic over being scammed out of $100,000, yet they'll throw away days, months, even years as if they mean nothing. Then, they act surprised when the future punches them in the face with the consequences of their own neglect. Want to level up? Start treating your mornings like they matter. The man who takes command of his first waking hour commands his entire day. And the man who owns his day owns his destiny. You can't afford to see how the day goes. That mindset is a one-way ticket to mediocrity. You've got to rise like you're entering battle. Like the world is trying to drag you into mediocrity, and every minute you don't fight back, you lose ground. The only thing separating winners from bystanders is how seriously they treated their time, long before they found success. It wasn't after they got the money that they became structured. It was their respect for time that created the wealth to begin with. You think you're tired? Demotivated? Wrong. You're scattered. You lack direction. You've got no structure, no plan, no urgency. You get up at random hours, scroll your mind into mush, chase short-term pleasure all day, and then wonder why nothing's changing. Here's the hard truth. Your calendar is a mirror of your self-worth. If you respect yourself, you treat your time like gold. You'd never let a stranger waltz into your home and take your possessions. So why do you allow distractions to rob you of your most precious asset? You wouldn't hand your car keys to a reckless driver, yet you hand your hours over to pointless habits that give you nothing back. The way you use your next 60 minutes will either build your future or destroy it. That's a truth most men run from until it's far too late. Still want hope? Here it is. You're not stuck. You're just untrained. You've been sold a lie. That success is about luck, privilege, or some mysterious formula. But the truth? It's math. It's repetition. It's what you do from sunrise to late at night that constructs the life you say you want. And here's the best part. You're in control of it. You don't need genius. You need momentum. Win the next hour, then the next. Stack those victories. Time compounds faster than any investment. You don't need more inspiration. You need a game plan. You need to look yourself in the eyes and admit, every minute I waste puts my dream further out of reach. That's the truth. And once accepted, truth becomes your most powerful weapon. Why do the relentless rule the world? It's not because they're naturally gifted. It's because they waste nothing. Not time, not effort, not opportunity. Every second is a warrior. Every hour is a battlefield. And they win because they fight time like it owes them everything. If you want transformation, master your time. Stop making deals with laziness. Stop negotiating with your comfort zone. Every time you hesitate, weakness grows. Every delay invites mediocrity into your future. And then you pretend to be shocked when success doesn't arrive. It didn't abandon you. You abandoned your hours. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. Every man gets a chance to rise. A defining moment where he stops lying to himself and begins treating every hour like it's sacred. That moment could be today. You don't need to wait until Monday. You don't need a new month or a new year. What you need is a mirror and the guts to say, from now on, I command my time. It no longer commands me. Want to feel proud of the man you see? Earn that pride. Guard your hours like treasure. Start each day with fire. Move with urgency. Build with intention. The temporary high from a dopamine hit is nothing compared to the long-term power of discipline and deep focus. If you don't change now, when will you? Next year? After another breakdown? After watching your dream wither away right in front of you? Know the time is now. This is your hour. Take control of it. Protect it. Dominate it. Because every second you waste is one you'll never get back when the clock finally runs out. There was a time when my life was chaos, not around me, but within me. My mind was a battlefield. I'd sleep in. No structure. No urgency. I couldn't even tell you what day it was, let alone what I was supposed to do. I'd lie to myself, saying I was figuring it out. But really, I was just letting life slip by one lazy hour at a time. Motivational speech. I remember one specific morning. Lying in bed, staring at the cracked, stained ceiling of my cheap apartment. And I felt something heavy, a choking, inescapable regret. Not for money. Not for relationships. But for the time I would never get back. That moment hit me hard. I wasn't broke because of my bank account. I was broke because of how I treated my time. People ask how I turned it around. They want the secret. There is no secret. There was just one decision. One moment where I stopped treating time like something to spend and started treating it like something to invest. Every minute I wasted, someone else was using to get ahead of me. That thought haunted me. I pictured other men, already up before me, working harder, thinking smarter, saying no to distractions while I was saying yes to weakness. And that's when I realized the competition wasn't just the world. It was every previous version of myself who wasted time thinking there'd always be more. And the truth? I lost years, not because I lacked ability, but because I failed to honor time for what it truly is, sacred. I used to treat time like it was air, always there, always accessible, never ending. But that was a dangerous illusion. I once had a conversation with a billionaire, calm, commanding, barely made a sound as he moved through the room. I asked him, "What separates you from everyone else?" He didn't hesitate. He said, "I plan my life with the precision of a surgeon preparing for an operation. My hours aren't suggestions, they're law." That answer hit me like a freight train because deep inside, I already knew the truth. I was reckless with my time. I let feelings control my actions. I let ease infiltrate my habits. But this man didn't build wealth because he was born a genius. He built it because he treated every minute like a weapon. His success didn't explode out of nowhere. It was deliberately constructed. Every chore, every phone call, every appointment, every workout, it all had a designated place on his schedule guided by intention. And once I saw that clearly, I rewired everything. No more hoping, no more waiting for inspiration to strike. I took charge of my days the way a commander leads a war, decisive, exact, relentless. I stopped counting down to Fridays. I stopped fantasizing about the next vacation. I became fanatical about what I could accomplish before the sun even rose. I woke up to the truth. The world is engineered to pull your attention away. Every ping, every platform, every distraction, they exist to rob your focus. And if they can steal your attention, they can steal your life. So I vanished. I turned down the volume. I started treating time like it was sand slipping through my fingers, no matter how tightly I tried to hold it. And when I did that, everything started shifting. Not because the world suddenly catered to me, but because I finally aligned my time with my vision. One day, the money changed. Then my circumstances. Then the respect I commanded. But none of it came before this realization. Success is just consistent, focused hours, directed at the right goal. And here's the part people never say. If you don't learn to control your time, someone else will. Your boss, your debts, your excuses. They'll own every minute of your day. Because time doesn't care who wastes it. It simply keeps moving. The most dangerous part of time? It slips by in silence. One day you're 21, thinking you've got all the time in the world. Then you blink, and you're 35 wondering where the last decade went. That's why I tell every man, rise early, push yourself, schedule everything, guard your hours like you would diamonds. Because if you lose cash, you can earn more. But if you lose time, that's lifeblood you can't replenish. When I look back at the man I used to be, the guy who slept until noon, hit snooze 5 times, believed tomorrow was a viable strategy, I feel 2 things: anger and gratitude. Anger because he nearly destroyed my future. Gratitude because I buried him. That version of me? He's gone. I eliminated him with a planner and a clock. I became surgical with my minutes. I became a machine of discipline. And now, I own every moment. I don't plead for chances. Opportunities find me. Because time now respects me, since I learned to respect it first. Ever sit down for 5 minutes and suddenly realize you've wasted 5 years? That's how time hits you, quietly at first, and then all at once. It doesn't whisper. It punches you in the mouth and says, you could have been a millionaire by now. And the worst part? You know it's right. That's the kind of pain no one talks about. Not the pain of failure, but the torment of unused potential. Because failure at least means you tried. But when you waste time, it means you never even got in the ring. That's the regret that lingers, not what you did, but all the hours you tossed away like they were meaningless. Ever wonder why you feel anxious? Why you can scroll endlessly and still feel like you're falling behind? It's because your brain knows the truth. It knows you're built for more. It senses the growing gap between who you are and who you could be. And every time you reach for distraction instead of discipline, that gap widens into a canyon. One day you'll stand on the edge of it, staring at the man you were supposed to become. And you'll realize you can't get to him anymore. Why? Because you didn't run, you sat still. You waited for life to find you. But here's the brutal reality. Life doesn't reward passivity. It consumes it. This isn't a war of bullets. This is a war of minutes. Every scroll, every delay, every idle hour is self-sabotage. And here's the scariest part. You are the one pulling the trigger. No one's stealing your time. You're handing it away like it has no value. I'll start tomorrow. You've said it for years. You've made peace with delay. You've built a friendship with laziness. You've let comfort blindfold you and guide you straight into mediocrity. Meanwhile, while you pretend things will magically improve, real winners are grinding. They don't wait for the right mood. They weaponize time. Want to know what's terrifying? The idea that someone with half your skills is ahead, not because they're better, but because they respect time more. They didn't have to be brilliant. They just got up earlier. They quit making excuses. They said, enough. That's what sets the powerful apart from the powerless. Not brains, not luck, just brutal mastery of their hours. If you understood that and acted on it, you'd be unstoppable. But here you are, trapped in repetition. Because time doesn't wait for your confusion. It doesn't hit pause while you figure things out. It keeps ticking whether you act or not. And if you don't pursue your purpose with urgency, you'll be outpaced by those who do. Think about it. Every minute you spend watching someone else live is a minute you could be building your own empire. That's not inspiration. That's basic math. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. What are you doing with yours? Sleeping 10 hours? Arguing online? Waiting for a sign? Time isn't emotional. It doesn't care about your mood. It pays those who execute. If you don't use it, you're forfeiting it. A man who respects time doesn't chase fame, approval, or trends. He pursues growth because he knows when you give time its proper value, everything else chases you. And the saddest truth? Most people will never change. Not because they're incapable, but because they're addicted to wasting time. It's a habit, a sickness of postponement, and they defend it with pride. I'm just chilling, they say, as though they've earned that peace. Earned what exactly? Relaxation without results? You don't deserve rest when you've created nothing. You don't earn downtime if you haven't earned your progress. That's why you feel hollow afterward, because deep down, your spirit knows you swapped greatness for cheap pleasure. And now it screams at you every night while you lie awake, wondering why you feel empty. That's not sadness. That's your untapped potential mourning. Let me give you something to etch into your soul. Discipline with time creates liberty. Indulgence with time leads to imprisonment. Most people aren't stuck because life changed. They're trapped because their schedules are designed to fail. They've filled their calendars with comfort instead of growth. But that doesn't have to be you. Not if you make a decision now. Because this moment isn't gone yet. Time is ruthless, yes, but it's also forgiving. If you take control, if you decide to lead, if you become the man who looks at a clock and sees opportunity, not stress, that's the man who wins. That's the man who takes over. When every tick of the clock obeys his direction, not because the clock changed, but because he did. You want to be a threat? Be the guy who wastes nothing. Be the guy who wakes up with purpose. Be the guy who architects his days like they're blueprints for a legacy. That's not just achievement. That's domination. That's how you outwalk the lazy, outlast the weak, and outperform the distracted. Because while they're busy squandering time, you're out here turning each second into a battle won. You become untouchable, not because of what you own, but because of how you use what they ignore. Time. You're not unfortunate. You're not doomed. You're just out of sync with time. That's the raw truth no one wants to admit. It's not that the world is against you. It's that you haven't turned time into your teammate. You haven't built your days into fortresses. You haven't made your hours into weapons. You've been moving through life like the clock owes you something, but the truth is, you owe time everything. Every breath you take is borrowed. And one day, the debt will be collected. That's the reality. That's the pressure. But also, that's the power. Because once a man sees that, he doesn't fall apart. He rises. He doesn't whine. He builds. Every second becomes a brick in the castle he's raising. No delay. No doubt. Only sharp, forward motion. Because he knows. Every second is either pushing him forward or pulling him down. You don't need more income. You don't need a motivational quote. You don't need more fans. You need more ownership over your time. You don't need to win the lottery. You need to win the morning. People walk around like they're stuck, but they've got the same 24 hours as everyone else. You just can't see your chains, because they're made of distractions, not steel. You think you're taking it easy while you scroll your future into oblivion. You think you're resting, when really you're slowly decaying in comfort. I'll start tomorrow is the most dangerous lie ever spoken into a man's mind, because tomorrow never arrives with a ribbon. It shows up already eaten, already filled with delays, already under siege by the old version of you, the version that thrives on wasting time. If you don't bury that version today, he'll bury every dream you've ever had. And he won't do it loudly. He'll do it silently. One missed shot at a time. Here's the hard truth. The future belongs to the men who master a single hour. Not a year, not a month, just the hour right in front of them. One focused hour of pure effort can outperform a week of scattered motion. But most men don't see that. They think productivity is some massive event. It's not. It's a war, fought minute by minute. Andrew Tate. Master your time, crush procrastination with purposeful action vertical bar. It's standing face to face with your former self and saying, not today. Today, I conquer. That's the separation. That's the line between rulers and jokers. One sees time and kneels to it. The other sees time and reshapes it. So ask yourself, right now, which one are you becoming? Because time doesn't pause for your reasons. It doesn't stop so you can catch up. It keeps moving. And every day you don't move with it, it drags you farther away from the life you were supposed to have. But here's what no one tells you. It's never too late to become lethal. Time can become your sword the moment you choose to value it. You can rise tomorrow and start winning your hours. Stack them. Guard them. Protect them like they're made of gold, because time is the most precious currency you will ever own. The most valuable thing you'll ever possess is time, and how you invest it determines the man you become. You can't pretend to have urgency. You can't imitate discipline either. Either you take command of time, or it owns you. There is no in between. That's why high-achieving men don't just arrange their schedules, they own them. They operate with intent, with boldness, and with absolute clarity. Every action has significance. Every hour serves a mission. Because they understand this unshakable reality, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You drop to the standard of how you manage your time. You want a different life? Don't start by setting goals. Start by dissecting your calendar. Weigh it does. If you're honest with yourself, you'll spot the gaps, the time leaks, the wasted energy, dripping slowly out of your schedule like a silent wound. That's not defeat. That's your signal to restructure, to rebuild, to return sharper than before. Because the real ones don't just recover from lost time, they return with a vengeance, so efficient, so ruthless, that the world has no choice but to take notice. You can become that man, the one people stare at and whisper, "How the hell did he do that?" And the answer? Simple. You stop donating time to nonsense. No one's coming to pull you into focus. No one's knocking on your door to gift you greatness. That's the cruel beauty of time. It's indifferent, but it rewards those who are obsessed, those who are consistent, those who are sharp. If you treat every hour like it determines your fate, life will elevate you like a god. That's how you dominate, not by wishing, not by dreaming, but by mastering each moment with fire in your chest and clarity in your soul. The day you treat time as sacred, your results become inevitable. Because excellence isn't created in giant leaps. It's built inside the minutes nobody else notices. It's the invisible grind that produces the life everyone else envies. So get up earlier, cut the noise, look at how your hours are spent, and it will show you precisely why your reality looks that. Lock in. Stop romanticizing business. Start worshiping precision. Stop talking about what you could do, and start proving it through relentless execution. While everyone else delays action, waiting to feel ready, you're out there converting time into unstoppable momentum. That's the gap between men and machines. That's the foundation of legacy. Taking the same 24 hours everyone has and building a dynasty while others build excuses. Time is the battlefield, and you'd better start fighting to win. You've heard all the advice. You've absorbed every quote, every video, every speech. You're not lacking motivation. You're overflowing with it. But the difference between the man who evolves and the man who stays shattered is what he does next. It's not about how fired up you feel now. It's about what happens after the fire fades. That's where most fail. They chase feelings instead of forming systems. They want passion without the discipline to sustain it. But listen, you don't need another rush of inspiration. You need to declare war on your wasted hours. You need to enter every day like it's war zone, and your task is to eliminate every single distraction before it eliminates you. If you hear this and walk away unchanged, you've already lost. Not because life is unfair, but because you were handed the chance to take the reins and you chose to coast. That's what breaks men, not hardship, not obstacles, but the choice to wait. And I promise you this, the man who waits is already done, because time doesn't have sympathy for hesitation. It won't pause for indecision. It doesn't reward the thinker, it rewards the mover. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you've already got. That's the real truth. The raw, unfiltered reality you've been dodging. You want to evolve? Then stop making deals with your weaknesses. Stop carving space in your life for mediocrity. Every hour must either construct your future or destroy it. There's no neutral zone, no middle path. Every minute squandered is a backward step. Every pointless scroll, every empty video, every nap you didn't need. That's your potential being burned. And you're the one lighting the match. Nobody is stealing your time. You're handing it away, smiling, distracted, blind to the cost. And it's killing the man you're supposed to become. The man who is strong. The man who's respected. The man who has earned his place. That man doesn't appear by luck. He's forged in the unforgiving furnace of time mastery. You must become militant with your minutes, savage with your priorities, obsessed with your structure. You've got to sit yourself down and ask, where am I losing this war? Because every missed target, every delayed vision, every broken promise, it all comes back to how you manage time. You can fool others. You can fake results. But your calendar never lies. It's the mirror of your standards, your energy, your integrity. If your time is chaotic, your life will be disrespected. You want honor? Respect your hours. That's the first sign of a man who's real. How he spends the early morning. How he responds to fatigue. How he shows up when it's boring, painful, and hard. That's the measure of greatness. Not skill, not fortune, but time discipline, the silent assassin of weakness. If your daily structure isn't built like a machine, your life will never become a kingdom. So stop improvising. Stop wandering. Stop hoping. Something will snap. Make it snap. Craft your hours with the discipline of a soldier. Know exactly what must be done, when it must be done, and execute it like your destiny depends on it, because it truly does. You don't have to transform everything overnight. You only need to quit wasting tonight. Seize 1 hour, then take another. Stack those victories. Fuel the blaze. This is a march of control, not a sprint of panic. You're no longer pursuing success. You're becoming it. One focused segment of time after another. Here's the brutal truth. No one will rescue you from your own laziness. But you don't need rescuing. You need to wake up. You need to step into a version of yourself that refuses to settle, that never delays, that refuses to excuse. Because this world bows down to the man who rules his time, not the gifted one, not the lucky one. The man who rises before dawn and wastes not a single breath. The man who never skips the gym, who doesn't mindlessly scroll for hours, who never misses appointments with his future. That's the man who conquers. That's the man who terrifies rivals without uttering a sound, because they know he neither squanders time nor misses chances. Right now, you face a decision. Either you become that man, or you remain average. You either build the life you want, or keep begging for motivation. You either master time, or remain enslaved to distraction. This isn't a speech. This is a mirror, and it's time to look. Everything you desire waits on the opposite side of your laziness, your scattered focus, your excuses. No one will tidy that mess for you. You have to rise. You must declare today that time will not own you. You will own time. You will dominate it. You will bend it to your will. You will weaponize it. And you will build a life so powerful, so precise, so unstoppable, that the world cannot ignore you. even if it tries. If you want to win, then stop staring at the clock. Become the force that drives its hands forward. Time management isn't a mere skill. It's a weapon. Pick it up.